I'm now going to take the time to go over each of the 9 accepted neurological patterns that have been proven by psychology and other science to be accurate and effective for every person on the planet. I will explain what draws each one of them to a role in the tech industry and what keeps them there. I'll give each one a number and a name. These can be found online, as well as my own creation, a fun fantasy element that I feel is the most effective way to remember them by. Remember that no type is better or worse in any role or in life than any other. They're just different. And because they're different, they need to be treated differently. And that is what the purpose of the Enneagram of Personality is. So, without further ado, I will focus on type 1. Type 1 is called the perfectionist or the crusader. I call them the ice type because they can be bright, reflective, transparent, and sometimes a little brittle. Ice types love to fix things. They love things to be perfect. They are not satisfied with a 99.9%. They want to achieve 100% at everything, and they will strive to do so. They work very well in leadership roles where they can take something that is broken and turn it into something better. Ones tend to be less forgiving of themselves and others than perhaps they feel that they should be, because they feel that forgiving is a virtue, but at the same time, it's a virtue that they need to develop over time. Type 2 is called the helper or the philanthropist. I call them the light type because they're bright, energetic, bubbly, and can be a little bit smothering at times. 2s love to help, and they love to be seen to help. They want to be the most available, the most present, the most there for other people. They work really well in roles in HR, and they tend to want maximum mutual social interaction. Because of this, they tend to work less well with people who are more naturally drawn to the tech workforce, who oftentimes want solidarity. And because of this, they can become a little bit smothering. Type 3s are known as the achiever or the executive. I call them the water type because, like a raging river, they cut through everything in their path. They don't take no for an answer. They also are adaptable and can fill the shape of any container. As such, they make the ultimate CEOs. They are leaders extraordinaire who are able to understand the needs of their employees, but also who desire to reach the pinnacle of success. They want to reach the pinnacle for themselves, whether that be CEO, whether that be doctor. They always want to have the best degrees and the best outward appearance, because their outward appearance reflects their own emotional state. Type 4 is called the maverick or the individualist. I call them the shadow type because they are cunning, sometimes aloof and mysterious. 4s are artistic types that love to create. They love to develop new ideas, and they love to make their ideas accessible to other people. This naturally gravitates them toward roles in coding, where they're able to create something new that has never existed before, and create code that people are able to use no matter their age or experience level. They can be aloof, and they can be brooding, and they can be hypochondriacs, and they do this because they love to have attention. Giving them attention is everything that they need in order to thrive. Type 5 is called the inventor or the professor. I call them the lightning type because they're quick. They're quick to think, they're quick to create, and they are also quick to run away. That's not because they are cowards, it's because they have very little social energy. They are the most common type to be found in the tech industry as coders and creators of software because they love working with computers. Anything that they can sink their teeth into and really learn. They love textbooks. They love experiences to learn and learn everything they can about a subject. They will not answer a question unless they are absolutely certain as to the answer. And they have very little time or attention for having to be in public or doing big social dues. Type 6 is called the loyalist, or the vanguard. I call them the wind type because they can be calm and gentle one moment and fierce and determined the next. They can also be blown about by any wind of somebody else. Because they are very loyal, they love to find someone to be loyal to. They love to find someone who will give them the security and protection that they need. 6s tend to question everything, and as such they will question their leaders. But once a leader has gained their faith and trust, they will give them their 100%. They typically work in roles as coders as well, but their roles desire more one-on-one interaction, more direct control from their supervisors. Type 7 is called the luminary or the enthusiast. the fire type because they're bright, they're hot, they're warm, and they can be explosive at times. 7s are the most likely to jump around from place to place. They tend to have itchy feet. They don't like to settle down and do one thing for too long because they just want to have fun. They love fun, and they love being able to enjoy life. As such, they actually can work really well in a tech role, especially in HR, where they can make the work more fun and enjoyable for other people. They also need to not feel trapped or constrained. They need to feel like they're not being constantly harassed or insulted for their work, because they can be very smart despite their fiery exterior. Type 8 is called the commander or the conqueror. They are type 8, and they are earth types. They are solid, they are sturdy, they are immovable, and that's both for the good and for the bad. Type 8s know who they are, they know what they want, they know who you are, and they know what they want from you. If you tell them to do something that they do not feel qualified to do, they will tell you to your face. If you do something that they do not want you to do, regardless of whether you're their leader, they will tell you to your face. If you can't take criticism, type 8 is not an employee for you. But they actually have a deep warmth and compassion that spearheads their actions. They want to help and protect those they feel are under their protective umbrella. And they make great leaders because they bring those that they feel need their love into their loving embrace. And last, but certainly never least, is type 9, the peacemaker, the mediator, the glue that holds the Enneagram together. I call them the nature type because they're calm, placid, and serene, and sometimes can be prone to inertia. Type 9s love to have balance. They love to have peace. They do not like getting into conflict. They don't like it when people discuss their ideas loudly or angrily, and they will not work in an environment where they feel that there is conflict or contention. They will typically back out, but that doesn't mean that they are weak. No, inside they have a deep fire, a spark, that will control any situation they feel needs to be, but for the most part, they will go along to get along. And they're naturally drawn to positions where they can mediate conflict between others because they can see all sides of the story. Every single type has value. Every single type has purpose. Every single type can be used in any role. But the most important thing for you as managers is to find a way that your individual employees interact and recognize that sometimes when there's conflict, it's because they are driven by very different things. When you find that thing that drives them, it will become a fuel to them that will keep them loyal to you for years. If you find the thing that pushes them away, they will leave and become part of the great tech exodus.